All right, guys, let's knock out this review for test 19. First three are fraction equations. Remember what we're going to do is we're going to multiply every term. First of all, before I even get into that, let's see what x cannot equal. X cannot equal 0 because that would make the denominator of that fraction 0. And then I'm going to multiply everything up there by the LCD. So I'm multiplying everything by 20x. 4 times 5 is 20. And don't forget the x. What happens here is 4 goes into 25 times. So I'm going to multiply 5 times x times 1. 5 goes into 24 times. I'm multiplying 4 times x times 1. Here the x's cancel. That leaves 20 times 1. Now just add them up. 9x is 20. Divide by 9. 20 over 9. Is that okay as an answer? It is because it's not 0. 29ths. Number 2. If you have a fraction, one fraction on each side, you can do what we just did, or because it's a proportion, you can just cross multiply. So I'm going to do 2x times x plus 1, which would be 2x squared plus 2x. I'm going to do 5 times x plus 7, which would be 5x plus 35. And I'm going to move everything over. Anytime you have an x squared, I'm probably going to have to factor. So I'm going to move the 5x over there. It'd be a negative 5x. So 2x minus 5x is negative 3x. I'm going to move the 35 over also. Negative minus 35 equals 0. You can do quadratic here. I'm going to try to do slide by slide, see what happens. So I'm going to slide to 2. 2 times 35 is 70. Factor what I have, which is going to be 10 and 7. And don't forget to divide by the 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. I'm going to leave that 7 halves there. And I get these two answers. I get 5 and negative 7 halves maybe. I forgot to at the beginning to tell what x could not equal, but both of those are fine in my denominator, so 2 answers there. Number 3. Last one of these, you got to start off by factoring. This denominator is x plus 3x minus 3, which means my x's cannot equal positive or negative 3 when I get done. So I'm going to multiply everything up there by the LCD, which is x plus 3x minus 3, every single term. And watch what happens. This one, the x minus 3's cancel. That leaves me 5 and an x plus 3. On this one, the x plus 3's cancel, which leaves me a negative 3 times x minus 3. And the good news on the last term, everything cancels. It just leaves me negative 2. So I'm going to distribute over here. 5x plus 15, negative 3x plus 9. It's negative 2. I'm going to have 2x plus 24 on this side. It's negative 2. Move that 24 over, get negative 26. Divide by 2. Finally get down to negative 13, which is okay because it's not plus or minus 3. All right, number 4, solve. This one's already factored for you. Remember, the solution of these, once they're factors, is the opposite of the second number over the first. Somebody's already done slide, divide, slide for you. So my 2 answers are 3/4 and also 5/3. Please don't miss that tomorrow. Number 5, solve by factoring. The factors of 12 add up to be 7, or 4 and 3. So 1x plus 4x plus 3, I get these two solutions, negative 4 and negative 3. So really 4 and 5, much quicker and easier than the first 3. 6 kind of follows that same pattern. I'm going to move that 30 over, make it negative 30. Divide by 6 makes it negative 5 because it's x squared. Take the square root of both sides. Plus or minus, because it's a negative square root, take out an I, you square 5. Number 7, it's all about completing the square. Please watch this one closely. I want you to be able to do this. First step, move the 13 over and leave space where the 13 used to be. Now I'm doing the gesture right here, even though you can't see me. I'm taking half the middle, which is negative 5, squaring it, which is 25, and adding it to both sides. We always add. The right-hand side is just 12. Left-hand side, now if you factor that, you would get x minus 5, x minus 5, which is really which is x minus 5 squared. We talked about this week, whatever the half is up here, half always goes in that parentheses. Now to solve it, you got to do 2 steps. You got to take the square root to get rid of the square. When you take the square root of 12, you get plus or minus. 12 is really 4 times 3, so I get 2, 1, 3. And the last step, I'm moving that 5 over. Remember, the 5 goes in front of the plus or minus sign. And there's your 2 solutions. Number 8, solve by quadratic formula. You know the song. Here we go. This time it's y equals though. So I'm going to go y equals negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, which is 2 times 2. Now, work out what's inside that radical first. I got a negative 4 and a negative 3, which makes that positive. 8 times 2 is 24, plus 25. That's going to be 49, which is working out really well because square root of 49 is 7. 5 plus 7 is 12 over 4. 12 over 4 is 3. 5 minus 7 is negative 2 over 4, which is negative 1/2. So there's my two solutions there. And the last one, graphically, we're going to take number 9 and punch it in the calculator, and we're going to go left bound, right bound. And we'll probably go 1 or 2 decimal places, so let me punch that in real quick. Okay, when I graph it, go left bound, right bound, surround that. The first one, the answer to the left I'm getting is 0.143. I'm going to go back. Remember, second calc 0, and then left bound, right bound. And the second answer I'm getting 6. Okay, remember your answer, the x coordinates there. Let's keep going. Number 10, find the vertex, axis symmetry, determine axis or man, all that kind of stuff. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna do the first one way and the second two the negative b over 2a way. So depending which way you like best. Okay, so the first one, I'm gonna put the x squared and x together. Leave the 12 out there. Make this a little bigger. Complete the square. Half of 8 is negative 4. Squared is 16. Because I put a plus 16 in there, I'm putting a negative 16 out there. And I get this. I get x minus 4, which was the half, by the way, minus 4. It takes 2 lines, guys. That's all it takes. Okay, so the vertex is 4, negative 4. Opposite of what's inside, exactly what's outside. The axis is the x. X equals 4. Max or min, because that's a positive one, is going up. Because it's going up, it means the vertex is a minimum. And remember, the minimum value is the y, which is negative 4. And it says graph. If we're going to graph this, we're going to go to 4, negative 4. And we're going to draw a graph of the graph going up. And for now, for us, good enough. All right, number 11. Number 11, do the other way. It depends on which way you like better. I'm going to do negative b over 2a. So I'm going to go positive 10 over 2 times 2, which is 10 fourths, which is really 5 halves, which means my vertex is going to be 5 halves something. And the way you get the somethings, I'm going to take that 5 halves and plug it in for that x and that x and just see what I get. I'm going to punch it in, I get 1.5, which is obviously 3 halves. So that's the vertex. The axis, as always, is the x coordinate. X equals 5 halves. The max or min, this is positive 2, so it's going up. That means it has a minimum of 5 halves. And I guess that's really all we need other than the graph. So the graph, you would go to 5 halves, which is 2.5, up to 3 halves, which is 1.5, and the prob is going up, so we graph it just like that. One more. Number 12, I'm going to do negative b over 2a again because I'm working with y'all this week. It just seemed like that's what you like the best. So I'm going to negative b over 2a. Negative b would be positive 6. A is negative 1. That's going to be negative 3. So I'm going to take that negative 3 and I'm going to plug it in there and there. So my vertex is going to be negative 3 and 12. All right, so the axis of symmetry is going to be x equals the x coordinate. This one's going down, which means it's got a max. The max is the y coordinate, which is 12. And really all we need, so if I'm going to graph it, I'm going to go to negative 3, 12, which is way up here. Because it's a negative, it's going down, just like that. All right, number 13. 13, find the 35th term. I gave you the formula right there. The 35th term is going to be, the 35th term is the first term plus n minus 1. N is 35, so n minus 1 is 34 times d. What are they doing here? The d is 7. They're increasing by 7. Just going to punch that straight in. 8 plus 34 times 7. I'm getting 246, and there it is. And 14 says find the sum of that infinite geometric, and there's a formula again, so I'm going to follow it. First of all, find r. R is the second term over the first term, which is 1/3. Remember, you can only do infinite if your r is between negative 1 and positive 1. And it is. So here we go. The first term is 9. I'm going 1 minus 1/3, which, by the way, is really 9 minus 2/3, which, by the way, is really 9 times keep, change, flip. So I get 27 over 2, and there it is. And 3 more, all imaginary stuff here. 15, I'm going to just distribute. I get negative 12i minus 24i squared. Remember that I squared makes that really positive 24 because it's really negative 24 times negative 1, which gives me 24 minus 12i. 16 is FOIL, so I'm going to go first, outer, inner, last, and I got to do the same thing. That I squared really makes that a plus 20 right there. 20 plus the 2 in the front is 22. And I have a negative 8i plus 5i, which is negative 3i, and there's that one. And the very last problem, here we go. Got to multiply by the conjugate of the denominator. The conjugate is 5 plus 9i top and bottom. All right, when you multiply by conjugates, remember you do foo. So one first, which is 5 times 5. Last, negative 81 I squared. The I squared makes the 81 become positive 81. 25 and 81 is 106. In my numerator, I'm just going to distribute. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 9 is 18. And I would be done, except all those numbers are even, so I'm going to reduce all of them. 2 goes into 10 5 times, goes into 18 9 times, goes into 106 53 times. And there you have it. All right, hope that helps. Good luck. Make 100. See you tomorrow.